welcome to your exam, your Viva exam. We need to let you know that it is a 10-minute discussion between yourself and us, and we're looking forward to hearing what you have to tell us about these exciting topics you've chosen. Towards the end of 10 minutes, we will give you an indication of where you're at, about the 9-minute mark, and perhaps you want to sum up anything we've missed in the conversation. When you go to play your excerpts for us, you please don't talk over the top, so we can hear a true sound of what you're presenting to us, and then we can talk about it afterwards. Okay, so don't talk over your exams. 10 minutes. We'll let you know, and it's going to go really well. Okay. All right. So we're right to begin. Okay. So I understand you've looked at John Williams.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about some of the music he's written?
Well, John Williams, I find him he's a really great composer. He's done a lot of really successful film music for films, such as the Indiana Jones movies, Star Wars, E.T., Superman.
Just to name a few?
Yeah, just to name a few.
Okay. And what ones have you analysed for us today?
Well, I've looked at the 4 different roles of film music.
Right.
So I've studied the concepts of film music.
Okay.
I think that's what it's called.
All right. Why don't we get straight into an example?
Okay.
That you've got for us, and before you play that, tell us what musical concepts we should be looking out for.
Okay, well, today I'm focusing on tone color and dynamics and expressive techniques.
Okay.
So I'm going to play you, I'll let you hear it. This is the main melodic idea in Sayuri's theme. It's from Memoirs of a Geisha, and the film was set in 1900s, so around World War I. And what we're looking at is how this excerpt kind of lets us know that it's Japan, that it was set in the movie.
All right, thank you. Okay, so you're telling us that the music or the film is set in Japan. What musically represents Japan?
Well, the koto is the national instrument of Japan. They've also got violins, flutes, which is what we heard in that excerpt.
Right.
The violin playing the main melodic idea, and the flute in the background. Also the harps and different types of horns.
Okay.
So that evokes Japan.
So you mentioned about the melodic, the melody of. Maybe you can tell us about how the melody is related to Japanese music. Is there any way you could tell us?
Well, in Japanese music, there's a strong emphasis on strings, string family, and that was played by the violin. So.
What about the actual melody that's being played? Is there anything you can tell us about it in relation to pitch?
It's quite low pitch.
Okay. Does it move in large leaps? Does it move in small steps?
It moves in quite large leaps, throughout that excerpt.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
there's large.
Okay. You also mentioned on your paper here something about scale. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, we're looking at the Japanese scales. Usually they're pentatonic. They use a pentatonic scale, which is a scale of 5 notes. They usually use, in their tuning, E flat, D, E flat, G, A, B flat, and D. And most of their instruments are played with this scale, or the koto.
Sure. So in that particular excerpt we heard, was there use of the pentatonic scale there?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay. Strings call and response imitation. So that's another dot point you put down there. Was that something we heard there, or was that something you're going to show us in a different example?
No, that's something I'm going to show you.
Well, could we hear that?
Yes.
And before you play, what is the relationship between the call and the response? What is the musical relationship?
Well, the violin will play an idea, and then as it kind of stops, fades out, we'll hear the flute come in. So it's like a questioning and answering between the two instruments.
Okay, well, let's hear it. Let's hear it, and we'll ask you a few questions about it. Okay, so let's compare the two. We've got two different tone colours happening there. As you said, there's a violin and then there's a flute
Yeah.
playing. What about in terms of pitch? Can you compare the two?
Yeah. Well, the violin throughout the whole song, it plays the same kind of pitch. It's a moderate pitch, and the flute plays quite a lower pitch. So the violin plays above the flute.
Okay. And what about the duration? Do we have different use of different types of duration in the call and then in the response?
Yeah, definitely. The violin uses quite large leaps throughout the melodic idea, and the flute quite small, so closer together, and yeah, so there's a bit of a contrast between the two instruments in regards to pitch and duration.
Thank you. Okay, let's move through to another idea here. So we've talked about evoking a time of